Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do the 8th grade recognition right now. So we're going to let Andy Rotifer, Coach Rotifer, talk during the 8th grade recognition, and we'll have the track meet to follow.
Andy, ready?
Okay, we will now begin 8th grade celebration. Our first athlete tonight is Brock Beaton. Brock has participated in track for 2 years and is accompanied by Brad and Bambi Beekman.
Yeah! Give us a smile! Smile!
Our next athlete tonight is Presley Brandt. Presley has participated in track for 2 years and is accompanied by Missy Schwartzbach.
Yeah, Presley!
Our next athlete tonight is Montana Beefus. Montana has participated in track for 2 years and is accompanied by Jesse and Robert Allen. Our next athlete tonight is Katie English. Katie has participated in track for 1 year and is accompanied by Coach Snyder. Our next athlete tonight is Alexis Gala. Alexis has participated in track for 3 years and is accompanied by Amanda Singleton. Our next athlete tonight is Alexander Hood. Alex has participated in track for 2 years and is accompanied by Coach Snyder. Our next athlete tonight is Keely Lee. Keely has participated in track for 8th grade and the part of 7th we had. I don't know if that counts as 1 or 2. She is accompanied by Mandy Promise. Our next athlete tonight is Talon Love. Talon has participated in track for 1 year, is accompanied by Hannah Ellis. Our next athlete tonight is Ethan McKinn. Ethan has participated in track for 1 year and is accompanied by Brad Beekman. Our next athlete tonight is Abby Nelson. Abby has participated in track for 3 years and is accompanied by Marlene Nelson. Our next athlete tonight is Ross Steele. Scout. I do that every time. Ross has participated in track for 3 years and is accompanied by Sarah and Eric. Our next athlete tonight is Chloe Stoneking. Chloe has participated in track for 1 year and is accompanied by Jamie Stoneking and Mike Bridgewater. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sierra.
And our final 8th grader tonight has turned 14 years old today. Her name is Sierra Shannon. Sierra has participated in track for 3 years and is accompanied by Shane and Mandy Shannon.
Not really sure, but that might be the first time he gets it.
Give it one final applause for our 8th graders and all their hard work. CPC athletes, please help move the hurdles back to the right place. Our track meet will begin in approximately 10 minutes.
It's a great afternoon of wind-assisted running. Down the front stretch anyway, because the wind will blow about 20 miles an hour out of the building. These kids don't run their best time ever. Something is wrong with it. Isn't that right, Mr. Butcher?
That's correct.
That's kind of what I thought. So we'll see what the times are. And Mr. Butcher, you're going to be hanging out up here? I'm here for you if you need. Okay, I will get a headset out and I'm going to put you on a headset. We're going to take a break here because we've got some time to kill. So get stuff right at 4 o'clock. So I'll get a headset for Mr. Butcher, and we will be back here in Costa presented by NBA in just a couple minutes.
My MDH Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation does more than just tape ankles.
They get us back on the court.
My MDH Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation
Helps me reach peak performance.
In the weight room.
Prepares me for competition.
My MDH physical therapists and the fitness programs MDH offers help me on my road to recovery and improve my quality of life.
Come see why MDH Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation was voted best of the best in McDonough County.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop because life never stops. It's hard to stop a train.
Some farmers I know swear by a name, say they'd never operate anything else. Well, here are a few names for my Fendt 900 Gen 6 series. Fuel Saver, Time Maximizer, Game Changer. I like those names.
Get dinner to the table quickly, no matter how busy your day's been. True convection cooking uses a fan to distribute hot air evenly and cook food faster. So dinner is ready when they are. True convection cooking, brought to you by Whirlpool.
All right, welcome back, folks, to CSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I had to go track down a headset for Mr. Butcher and get things set up. So they have called final call to boys field events and girls track events. So we should be going here in just a couple of minutes. This is the last track meet of the season for the junior high for BPC, and I believe it's going to be the last one for West Praire too. I have not heard.
I think so.
West Praire doesn't have any home meets,
They're on track,
of course. As Ethan, who was here to help me today, points out, they don't have a track. Technically, they still, I mean, the round center.
Second call, all boys and girls hurdles. Second call, all boys and girls hurdles.
Cement
North
around
end
the
of the
inside
track.
of it's still there, isn't it?
Second call,
I haven't been on-
all boys
I never
field
walked on
events.
the field this year, but I was thinking the cinders were still there. Underneath the grass.
No.
I don't know either. Never paid attention really. Well, a few years ago they were still there.
Yeah, when I was in high school, at least.
Yeah, so I'm sure that it would just take a good $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 and a couple tractors and a little more cinder, and you can have a cinder track.
Well, maybe when they move the high school back down to Costa, they'll do that.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody wants to run on a cinder track anymore, though. That's the real issue.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in school, we still had a cinder track here, and cinder suds was the main part of the medicine kit. Med kit. You'd take a brush and cinder suds, they'd fall on track and have their leg full of cinders, and spray it with cinder suds and scrape it on. It did not feel good, folks. If anybody, well, I shouldn't say I don't know that it didn't feel good, because I was a manager, I was always the one scratching instead of the one getting scratched. But I'm guessing by the reaction of the people that I had to help, it didn't feel good. So if anybody's listening and ran track back in the day, and you want to chime in on what cinder suds and removing cinders from your leg felt like, go to our live chat. Chat us up and let us know what your memories of running on the cinder track. I know that the funny thing is the spikes used to be like 3/4 of an inch long.
Yeah.
And now they're just little bitty spikes. But the shoes are way more expensive. How do the spikes become like a third the size but cost 3 times more? Something's not right with that. Kurt Rigg is down there with the exchange zone flags. You hold those up and almost fly away. There's Mr. Sargent finding his way down as the chief starter one more time. The yellow sleeve is on and ready to go. So we're just about ready to go as well here on CSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Mr. Butcher decided that he needed a sweatshirt, so he'll be back with us in a couple minutes. Sweatshirt in hand, I would imagine. It is a tad bit chilly in the wind. It's not so bad you can get out of the wind. It's kind of chilly. You won't be able to probably get the outside lanes. Can you get them down far enough for you to get them?
Not the start, but we can get the first hurdle, I think.
Yeah, it's this crow's nest was made for football and was not made for shooting track. I said we needed to be on the far side.
Yeah.
The crow's nest on the other side, because there would be nothing. But the problem is you can't have electricity over here unless you turn the lights on.
Well, can we get the finish line?
This is the last call for hurdles. Last call for hurdles. North end of the track. Boys and girls hurdles. Last call. Last call for all boys field events as well. Last call for all boys field events. First call, girls 100. First call, girls 100.
Last night they ran high school track here. We were going to bring it and then decided to switch to baseball instead. And the baseball game was a good one. It was a pretty good game. This track meet, actually, I came over, took some highlights of it. I will put the video together for that, just some highlight videos. But they literally had 2 girls run the hurdles and 1 boy. 4 teams, 2 girl hurdlers and 1 boy hurdler. Now they had a bunch of people run the 100, but they only had a few people run the hurdles. Of course, the hurdles at high school level are 2 or 3 notches higher than what they are here. Probably has a little bit of difference to do with it. And you are watching PSSR Game Time Live or just listening to one or the other. PSSR Game Time Live is presented, as always, by MDH. We're happy to have MDH on board here for our first season of PSSR Game Time Live. They will join us again in the fall. We'll continue covering all of our sporting events.
Lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7th grade.
About ready to go here. We're having a few audio problems.
Psych. I was talking to Kayla the other day. When they get married, by the time we get married, Marie's going to be 37. I was thinking about right on that.
And we're underway with the 110 hurdle. 100 meter hurdle for the girls. 7th grade. Okay, now we got our issue fixed. I'm really not sure what the problem was there. I apologize, folks. You were able to pick up what we were talking about, but it wasn't real good audio. It should be a lot better now. As the 7th grade girls hurdles are completed, Monmouth ICS getting the win.
Eighth grade, lanes 3, 4, and 5. 8th grade, lane 3, 4, and 5.
Eighth grade, lanes 3, 4, and 5. Now, getting ready for the hurdles. And 100 hurdles for the 8th grade girls. All BPC athletes here in the 100-meter hurdles for the girls. Young Miss Lieb out to the lead, and she looks like she probably will win without some sort of a catastrophe. On the last hurdle, she clears it, and she should be good to go.
Anyone can help move the hurdles back.
Now the hurdles have to be moved back for the boys.
Back to the start line. They're blue. So move all the way back. Blue. Keep moving. No, move back.
Move the hurdles back to the blue. Go ahead and put that on there, sir. I had our audio all messed up. So, but I think it's working now. Can you hear me okay?
Nope. Not through here.
How about now?
Yep.
Yep, there you go. Mine aren't plugged in, his are. I wanted him to be able to hear me. I can hear him. I'm used to not only being able to hear halfway, so I should be fine.
You hand me my water.
Mr. Butcher has joined us now. He's got the parents out helping to move hurdles here, as is commonly the case. We've got a lot of hurdles to move.
Parents, coaches, kids, all pitching in.
It's always nice to have a little help. The athletic director's out there helping. The coaches are out there helping. Takes a village, as they say, right?
Correct. Good part about 8th grade night. Plenty of parents out here.
Well, I'll tell you what, the high school had their first first high school meet last night here. And I was going to do the high school meet, but then we switched to baseball at the last minute. But I did come over and take highlights. So we're going to do some highlight video maybe tonight or tomorrow of that. But the numbers are just plain down for everybody everywhere, aren't they?
Well, it seemed like it. I thought BWP's numbers looked pretty good. We filled every event, boys and girls, and in a lot of times more than two. Filled every relay. So, maybe we didn't have boy pole vaulters. There was a couple things that we left empty, but really.
Yeah, but pole vaulters, they don't even do they even do that in junior high? We never used to do it in junior high at all. Do they do it in junior high here now if they want to?
I don't know if they do it here, but it's back. It's a state recognized event. Actually, one of the teachers at the elementary now, Miss Churchill, I think she was a state champion or state placer in the pole vault for VIT. Either that or her sister. I might be switching them up. It's around.
When you get older and you've been around a long time, you know a lot of kids, and they all you know they did something, but you can't remember which one did what when, can you?
I've started calling kids by their parents' name. That's time to go.
That's why you came to Bushnell, right?
Yep.
Just so you could stop calling kids by their parents' names?
Yeah, I needed to start over.
So getting ready for the 110 hurdles for the boys now. Looks like we've got lanes 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess. I couldn't see the other two kids. They're standing up, not using blocks.
You can tell it's later in the season. We got some people in their blocks. Wasn't that long ago that we were doing the first meet. Got a couple of guys out front with some good form.
Good reach. Every other foot form, as we talked about before on the Bushnell runner. But, well, he actually, the last 3 hurdles, he did the same foot.
Yeah, he was 4-stepping, then he was 5-stepping.
So he switched back and forth, but did have a good group of boys in that set of hurdles. So it's kind of neat to see a big group, because that's something that early in the season we didn't get to see.
Yep. They've come a long way in a short time.
Of course, high school is just really getting started, so they'll have another couple weeks to improve their form.
Yeah, I don't think they have sectionals until June. I think they're still a month away for girls and a little longer for boys.
Sorry. Ethan came and moved the computer screen a little bit because the folks at home doesn't need to see the computer screen. I guess for some reason he thinks the finish line is more important than the computer screen.
It's a neat added touch.
I mean, I don't know why he would think something like that, but we're getting ready for the 8th grade. I guess we don't have
hurdles are coming off.
They are, so they ran them all at once. That's why there was such a big group. That means it'll be the 100-meter dash for the girls, right?
Yeah. Did I miss the girls? Yeah, I was changing. Okay. So
You did miss them. They ran 2 flights, but you did miss them. They ran 7th and 8th grade.
And they've done the girls 100, or
Nope. This is the girls 100 getting ready to start now.
Okay.
So we'll take a short break real quick while they clear hurdles, and we'll be back here on TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH right after this.
During this COVID pandemic, it is important you take care of your health, especially your heart health. Do not ignore the signs of a heart attack or stroke. If you have health concerns, schedule an appointment with your provider, and always, in case of an emergency, call 911. This message brought to you by McDonough District Hospital and Blessing Health System. See for yourself why Blessing Health System is the leader in cardiology and pulmonology services. Appointments available inside MDH. Learn more at blessinghealth.org or mdh.org.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered today. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back to Bushnell Prairie City High School for junior high track as the parents and friends and family and participants and everything else has got the track cleared of hurdles, and we're ready to go with the girls 100 meters, and it looks to me like we must have at least 3 flights of 100-meter dash here.
It sure looks like it. Looks like we've got at least 7 lanes. Nope, all 8 lanes are filled on this.
I think this might be the first time all year, besides last night, that I've seen all eight lanes filled. They had the 8 lanes filled in the 100-meter dash one time last night, too.
I think you're right.
As Mr. Sargent, if you see that yellow sleeve, that is for the purposes of knowing when the gun is raised from a distance, right?
Correct.
As we get ready to 1 through 8. We got Costa, BWP, West Prairie, ICS. We got everybody out here in this one. Ideally, this would be the slow or the fast heat.
This should be the slower heat.
Oh, that BWP girl got, or BPC girl got a great jump, but Cyclone's runner is leading. Here comes ICS down the, what is that, 4th lane?
Lane 4, yep.
And I can't see.
Yeah, fairly tight lanes 2 through 5.
Ethan, who won? Lane 5. That was the West Prairie runner that was leading early. ICS was closing a little bit, it looked like, but so now we've got another 8 lanes of runners. I know that Costa was not originally scheduled for this meet, but they have been running against a lot of teams that they couldn't run against anybody. They'd run an event, but there'd be nobody else out there. They were here last week. What was it last week? Last Tuesday we did a meet, and they actually asked if they could come back and run this meet too because ICS is here, and they knew ICS would have a bunch of people.
I gotcha.
For competition. So
Costa's in the red and black uniforms?
Costa is in the red and black. That is correct.
Where is that out of?
I think Galesburg.
Okay.
It's where we used to. The only time we ever played Costa in anything in junior high when I was in junior high that I remember was in basketball at the Abington Holiday Tournament. We played there at the beginning of the season and always played Costa in that tournament.
Okay. Guns up.
BPC in the middle lane running away with this one. I would say that was the fast heat to start, wasn't it?
It's
lane
difficult
4,
to tell.
BPC's runner.
That could have been all 7th grade. This could be the slower heat of 8th grade.
Yep. I think that was the fast heat of 7th grade, the slow heat of 7th grade, then the fast heat of 8th grade maybe.
Oh, maybe we got 2 more heats here.
I don't know. There's 2 more heats back there.
Yep. So I guess that was 7th and 7th.
Yep. Would appear to be the case anyway. Now, we'll have to see if this is the fast or slow heat of 8th grade here. Of course, West Praire, unfortunately for them, they were off for 2 weeks, so this is only their 2nd or 3rd track meet, I think. So they really, other than running in practice, don't know who their fast or slow people are. Stuff getting blown down there?
3rd heat again is 1 through
Okay.
8. 3rd heat again, 7th grade, 1 through 8. First call, 4x2 girls. First call, 4x2 girls. South end of the track, blue benches.
There are quite a bit more runners today. This will take a little more time. It's really impressive to see how many West Praire track members there are, considering they had to wait so long to come out. I mean, you very well easily could have lost some of those kids. Just what's the point, to run for a week when you get back, So you got to give those kids and parents and coaches and everybody credit that they stuck to it, are here to participate.
It's nice to have 4 teams that have pretty full teams. I think those are the 4 teams that are here today, right?
What's
Costa,
that?
We got Monmouth.
Yep.
And Costa.
Yep.
Bushnell and West Praire.
Yep. Wait and see here if the ICS runner up front. Cyclones runner in 2nd and 3rd. So we get ready for the final heat of 100-meter dashes, and they just take all the times, correct, Mr. Butcher, and the fastest, even if they were in the first heat or the second heat, the fastest will be the winner. They don't have to qualify or move on or anything like that, right?
Correct. Until you really get to sectional or maybe another big meet, but I don't think there would be in junior high. You're going to go off of, you're going to go off times in sectional too, but you're going to have it seated better, and you should be pretty close to having your fastest 8 set up right. If you're running in sectional, if you're running semifinals, you're gonna seed that by the fastest person is in I believe the last heat, and the second fastest before that, and it serpentines. So it'll be fairly balanced.
The fastest of each heat is in lane 4, right?
Correct.
And then the second fastest is lane 5.
Correct.
And the third fastest is lane 3, and then it just goes back and forth, right?
Yep.
So if there's 4 heats, the last one would have the fastest person in lane 4. The second seeded fastest one would be in heat 3, or does it start 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, it'll go back. It might start 1, 2, 3, 4, and if the 4th heat then would have the 4th and 5th fastest and work their way back. I think that's right.
It's set up just like a basketball tournament or anything else,
Right.
like the finals for the basketball, NCAA basketball.
Yeah.
This is the 8th grade fast group here.
Yep.
ICS running away with it. Lieb is in second, it looks like, for BPC. Monmouth ICS has some really fast runners.
Yeah, they do. That girl's had a nice stride.
So we'll go down for the mile run now, correct? 1,600 should be next, followed by the 4x2, I think.
Yeah, I can never get junior high straight. I've done high school for so long.
I've done enough of these. I ought to remember by now. I forgot Ethan. Every time Ethan's helped me with the track meet this year, I've had him out wandering around and leading him astray on how he can get through gates and stuff like that. He was over at the long jump the first meet, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you can fit through over here. And then he could barely squeeze through the fence over there. And he's pretty skinny, so I'm now 99% sure I couldn't have got through the gap that he fit through. But
I think I could have got a leg through it.
What's that?
I could have got one leg through it.
Well, I might have been able to do that, but the torso is my issue.
Yep.
If I could, I'd have better luck climbing the fence than getting through a small gap. Just.
I would have hopped the fence, but I had that big camera.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm always hindering your ability to move, aren't I? One way or another. What I felt bad about it, Mr. Butcher, is he started to walk around, and I said on the radio, you can just cut back the other way because he was going to shot put. I'm like, there's a way to get around there. And there used to be a hole and a gate over there. But apparently now there is not a hole or a gate over there. So I led him astray.
Well, it's not going to hurt him. A little extra.
But he's young. He actually got through the fence and just cut across, right? It wasn't too horrible. At least he didn't get stuck down there and then have to walk all the way back around again.
Yeah, I might have been mad.
Yeah, I would have been mad at myself. What I'm really happy about is I sent him before I tried to do it.
Right.
Because it would have been bad if I'd have tried to do it. I'd have been cussing myself up one side and down the other. The kind of funny thing about this season, too, is the ups and downs of the weather. I mean, you always have that a little bit during track season anyway, but it's like one nice weather track meet, one miserable weather track meet, one nice weather track meet, one. It's warmed up now a little bit since the sun came out, but, man, it's still cool in the wind.
Yeah, the wind has picked up. Yesterday it was perfect out. You don't want it to be too hot, you don't want it to be too cold, and you don't want any wind.
And the mile is underway.
Oh, nope, I think he's.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, maybe it is. Okay. Well, we're just bragging about how all the events were filled.
Well, they are. They got one. Just not by every school.
First call, girls, 4x1. First call, girls, 4x1.
It would appear. I can't believe Costa doesn't have somebody running in this, or ICS, either one.
Yeah, me neither. So I'm assuming, well, yeah, this is just girls now. We're out of, the boys are all doing field events, so.
Hey, Ethan, if you want to try to, zoom over to, there's no high jump either. If you want to zoom over to long jump or shot put or something. And Miles was zooming over to long jump last week. It wasn't too bad. Oh, they're jumping the long way, though, because the wind's blowing that direction. Yeah, that's smart. But you could probably jump an extra foot or so in this wind, couldn't you?
I would.
Well, get up and, I'd wear my sweatshirt and, have wings on it, try to catch as much wind as I could. Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't help me any, but it might help Ethan.
I would think that you would pick up enough. You'd pick up some more speed. It'd definitely be better than running into it.
Yeah, you'd be 2 feet under your distance. Not only would you have to run into the wind, but you'd jump and it's like hitting a wall as hard as this wind's blowing.
Yeah.
One lap going to be down this time by. That cannot be fun out there running a mile all by yourself.
No, I would imagine it's not.
I'd rather get beat by a lap and at least know I was chasing somebody than to run by myself.
For the 4x2 and also for the 4x1, please. Exchange zone judges will be needed 4x2 and 4x1.
It does look like there's a lot of kids over there at the long jump pit, though. They are measuring now, so looks like the long jump is going on. There's quite a few jumpers. That's the most jumpers I've seen. That's the most shot putters I've seen, too,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, there's quite a few kids over there.
So that's a plus. There's Coach Schneider working on tilting all the hurdles. What is the reason of tilting the hurdles?
There's weight in there, and you're putting that weight back forward.
So they're easier to carry. And
you can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it, but I didn't know what.
I believe it's the way it's supposed to be set up so that when you hit them, they'll go forward.
Right. Yeah. Held him in place a little bit better.
Our young lady's
Coach,
approaching 600 meters.
Yeah. Coach Schneider does a whole lot here at this school, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. I like to go down and visit with him.
He is always, and funny is the wrong word, but it's a little comical to me that he, on his nights off, he'll still go work the table for a junior high event,
right.
a COVID table for a junior high event or something. It's amazing that the time he puts into this place.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with him.
I mean, a lot of teachers and a lot of coaches are that way, but he seems like he's taught, or he's coached. What's he's coached this year? He's coached golf, basketball, football, junior high track.
Yep. So there's 4, and you'll see him at the girls' basketball game. You'll see him at.
He was at the boys' baseball game after the track meet the other night.
Yep. And you'll see him at a high school track meet.
Yeah.
Nope,
two more laps.
Two to go.
They'll ring the bell on the 1 lap to go.
Right, yeah. So you brought up an interesting point about his sleeve. So when the starter is far away, like at the 100 or 200, it's important that they can find him, whoever's starting the timer. If you got a fully automatic time, it'll go off. It'll start on the gun. When you have a semi-automatic timer, you've got human error. You're watching for the smoke.
Right.
So if you're a person down there and previously, before we had semi-automatic timers or fully automatic timers, you had 8 people with a stopwatch, and they were all trying to start at the same time, which is never going to happen. But they're watching for the smoke. You can't go off the sound. Obviously, you can see the smoke before you hear the sound.
Right.
So when you use a semi-automatic timer, one person starts it, but then 8 different people are stopping on their lane or on their person. So when you have to enter times, say for sectional, you're supposed to add 0.24 seconds to your time. That's human error if it's a semi-automatic time compared to someone who has a fully automatic time. So oftentimes if you look in the Peoria Journal-Star, when they have the honor roll meet listings, you'll see stuff rounded off, or you'll see 0.24 added to it. That's why. Like you'll see things, they'll round it and then they'll add 0.24, which is the way you're supposed to do it. Round it up, then add 0.24. So when all these times end in a 4, and you're like, wow, that's weird. That's why.
That's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that.
Well, it's a 1600. I'm a wealth of knowledge, so I thought I'd just.
You are much more of a wealth of knowledge than I am. That's for darn sure. I was talking earlier. I don't think you were up here. Ethan and I were talking about West Prairie doesn't have a track, and I said, well, technically they probably still have their cinder track around the football field. I don't think they tore it out, so it's technically still there.
Right.
But I asked. I said that we should have somebody who has ran on a cinder track. I don't think anybody answered me. But I said that if you had cinders, the med kit, instead of having like bandages and having wraps in it, it had cinder suds and brushes.
Yep.
And I'm sure you ran on enough cinder tracks in your day, probably. Cinders in your leg or in your knee or your shin or whatever. I always was the one spraying the cinder suds on and rubbing them out because I never ran on track or fell on the cinders. But judging by the pain that those people were in when that happened, it's not a good feeling.
No, that is – I mean, when you're younger, it probably doesn't bother you as much, but it takes a while for those to work their way back out of your skin depending on how bad your spill was. But you get them in your hands, you get them in your knees. The worst is get them in the palm of your hands, I think, when you wipe out.
Because then every time you put your hand down, you feel it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's still a cinder track. Last time we talked about this at Menden. But it is so packed down, it's almost not like the cinder tracks that we remember. And I think they still have cinders maybe going around at VIT's field, and there probably are at some other football fields
where
they're going to practice on it. I used to never let my hurdlers hurdle at Menden. Just the the softness of the ground, the difference in the spikes that you're going to wear. It's just enough different that if you have a spill, it wasn't worth it.
Here's the kick for the final 75 meters or so.
But because of Mendon Unity, we still kept one thing of suds in our first aid kit. She never knew we were going to need it. And she finished strong. She looked good.
So here's the other thing we talked about a little bit before you got up here. I was trying to remember. Cinder spikes were like 3/4 of an inch or half an inch, and what are these spikes? Are like an eighth or a quarter, right?
Yeah, these are an eighth or a quarter. Okay. I think, gosh, some of those spikes, they seemed like Gene Simmons's boots.
For anybody who doesn't know what Gene Simmons' boots look like, they got like 8-inch soles on them to raise you up. So that's what you were. But you were walking on those, and that's like, I remember the big thing was like, and they still do it, but it's not as, they don't seem to care as much about it. But when this all-weather track got in, it was, they laid rubber down across, never walk on it with spikes, of even football spikes on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you started getting a few all-weather tracks and you were still running on cinders, you had to buy track shoes that had removable spikes.
Yep.
So you could put the all-weather spikes in, and you could put and now they probably just pretty much buy all-weather track spikes, right?
Yeah. I mean, once again, if you have one place you go, over on the western border of Illinois, some teams go into Missouri a lot, and there's still a lot of cinder tracks over in Missouri. So they need them more. I always had a pill bottle full of 7/8 or 3/4, whatever they were, because we had one meet. But back in the day, you had more on cinders than you had, and switching them out is a pain. Now your biggest thing is if you go to an indoor meet, a lot of indoor places say only 1/4-inch spikes, but they never, or only 1/8-inch spikes. So if you wear 1/4-inch out here a lot, you may wear 1/8-inch inside, but they never check them. And it's really hard to distinguish between those two.
Now, like all-weather turf for football turf and stuff like that, they're allowed to wear small spikes there too, aren't they? But a lot of kids just wear tennis shoes on that stuff, don't they?
Well, there's special spikes for that.
ICS out front here in the 4x200. They've got first and second, and that second leg has got good stride and pulling away for ICS. Cyclones in third. BPC is in fourth. Which one? Ireland Purdy? McCurdy? Ireland McCurdy. Think she was born in Ireland?
Might have been born on March 17th.
That could be too.
Looks like they're making up a little bit of ground, maybe.
Second call, 400 girls. Second call, 400 girls.
Still pretty spread out heading
final
into the
leg
stagger. Clean exchange, a good one.
Boy, that girl's fast.
Yep.
She's
moving.
The first or the fourth leg and the final leg for the 4x2 for the ICS team number 1 is fast.
Well, that's interesting. Both of those teams are ICS, and they use different kinds of exchanges.
Final leg on the second team's pretty quick too.
Yep.
BPC's closing, aren't they?
Closing in, yes. Got a chance. Maybe about 10 meters back.
I don't think she's going to get there.
Nope. Strong finish and no flags up. We did have somebody at the exchange down there. So here we are for the 4x1 lining up.
Last call for the 400 girls. Last call, 400 girls. First call, 200 girls, opposite side of the track at the 200 mark. First call, 200, opposite side.
So the 4x1, it's the 4x2, 4x1, then the 2.
I think the 2's right before the 400. 4x4, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the 8's after this. Go 8, 4, 8, 4, 2, 4x4.
Well, 4x1's getting ready to go now, it looks like.
Right. 4x1, then maybe 8, 4, 8, 4, 2, 4x4.
Yeah, I think you are right. There's not a whole lot left, is there?
No, moving pretty well. There we got 3 white flags up, signifying they're ready to go with the exchange zones.
I'll lean back here so I'm not in Ethan's way.
Am I in your way?
Yeah, get your water bottle out of the way. He's awful needy, isn't he?
He's awful pushy. I'm going to send him around the wrong way. Clean start. 6 teams.
It looks like a West Prairie team closing the gap in a hurry there, didn't they?
Yeah, they sprouted right out.
ICS is in second. I'm going to guess that's another West Prairie in third, but BPC's closing on the inside lane. Here comes Costa as well from the back. I kind of feel like I'm calling a horse race right now.
Yeah, Costa's making up some ground. They had a good exchange. West Prairie still out. Bushnell now making a surge on the inside.
BPC is in second and closing. This is where it all becomes pretty much even right here on this exchange. We'll see where everybody is. A good exchange for West Prairie.
Pretty good for Bushnell.
Lieb is the final leg here, and West Prairie has got about a 10-meter advantage. ICS still in third. Costa is close to fourth, and they look like they may get third. Lieb closes but can't get the top spot. It really looked like Costa might have came to third.
Yeah, looked like West Prairie, Bushnell, Costa, ICS, and then, of course, we don't know if they're 7th or 8th grade.
It looks like Madeline Sullivan from West Prairie was the final leg. I'm guessing since they are now leaving that must have been 7th and 8th grade together.
Yeah, it must have been.
Good run for West Prairie, though.
Yeah.
I am really impressed with West Prairie and the way they've come out here and running very well. It says those kids must have been doing something during their out-of-school quarantine besides sitting around playing video games.
Well, was the junior high out? Did they?
They were all out.
They were all
Everybody.
out. So they were out, plus they don't have a track to practice on.
Yeah.
So pretty impressive.
Oh, Ethan's going to get some high jump now. That's the other thing. I remember trying to keep the bar on the stanchions in the wind.
Yeah, if you had some wind, it caused an issue.
I got a few high jump shots last night. I got some triple jump. The West Prairie kids that were doing high school last night seemed to have more problems with like the things that take more practice, meaning like triple jump. Matthew Geltmacher, who's a very good triple jumper, struggled with the triple jump last night just because I'm sure that, I mean, you could practice that a little at home, I'm guessing, but to have your distances and your board and you know, that's got to be difficult, doesn't it?
Well, there was 3 of them that were in it last night, and none of them got a mark, so then none of them placed. But it's quite a ways from that board to the pit. It's not like the long jump where if you can jump 6 feet, you can make it to the pit.
Right.
In the triple jump, if you go from the 32-foot board or whatever you may be going from, you've got to be decent just to get a mark, just to get in the pit.
I was over there shooting Geltmacher, and every time he just missed clearing the concrete to get into the pit.
Okay.
But it wasn't so much if you could see him talking to his mom and his dad who were over there, helping a little, and it was more of it seemed to be more like it was how do I want to put this? Just the footwork. His mark was good on the initial jump, but just that practice of not having a chance on track to do that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. Sure. Yeah, if you do the triple jump right, it's a lot of work. I don't know if I ever have anybody that ever did it perfectly right. And I had a girl that placed in state once. And she was just a heck of an athlete. Oh, we've started the race.
This is the 400 here. Do you believe?
Well,
hey, we got a new camera operator. Did Ethan have to go to the bathroom? We'll just tell him you're better than him. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
You're doing great.
That's a pretty good 400 heat there.
Yeah, they're all staying pretty close together.
Of course, they are in the lane, so that outside lane's got a lot farther yet to run than the inside lanes do.
Yes.
At the opposite side of the track. First call, 800 girls.
Looks like we have a young lady from Bushnell starting to pull away.
BPC girl on the inside lane she closed the gap and was leading going into the final turn. That would give you a big advantage, right, coming around the corner.
Yep. And
ICS in second, BPC in third. And here comes a Cyclone runner on the outside. Looked like she was trying to have a little kick to close the third here. But BPC's out front. Going to be a good battle for second, third, and fourth, though, as BPC closes on the ICS runner as well.
BPC's looks like they've moved into second. Yep, second, ICS third, and
West Praire fourth.
West Praire fourth.
That was a pretty good run there at the end.
Yeah, it was.
We want to thank everybody for watching us here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I want to thank Mr. Butcher. Of course, Mr. Butcher is what is this, month number 4?
Well.
Or 5, what is it? I've lost track.
This will be the 5th month. It'll be my 7th month altogether. My 5th month as the principal.
As the principal, yeah. I was going to say, it's you've kind of been thrown in the deep end as far as the high school here at Bushnell Prairie City. It was nothing easy when you stepped in, was there?
I was rescued from the deep end, I think. And
and tossed into a different one?
Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire.
I understand. Hey, I think she's better than you are.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job.
She did a fantastic job. Ethan's smiling like he don't believe us. Do you notice that? Look at that grin on his face.
Yeah.
And here comes the 400 for the 8th grade.
Are we not hearing the gun, or are we just?
I heard the gun.
Okay, I must not be hearing.
If you take if you take this side off like that, you can probably hear better.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have to have me talking in your ear, both ears. It's only one now. See how that works?
Yep.
Both sides are really good when you're inside a gymnasium and it's really loud, or the music's playing really loud. But when you're out here and you try to hear other stuff, it's almost better to have one headset off, or one side of your headset off.
It looks like we got a battle between a young lady from West Praire and a young lady from, that is ICS, correct?
It is ICS.
And a couple other ladies from West Prairie kind of back away.
I'm not sure if this is, looks like they got another set going down there. This may be a second group of 7th graders or a first group of 8th graders.
Well, it could be. If we have.
Well, actually, I bet they're getting ready for, no? They've already done the 4x2, so.
Unless they're lining up for the 800.
Oh, that could be.
Well,
West Prairie is out front. ICS trying to close, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it. West Prairie's got 3rd and 4th as well.
Well, that wind at your back is nice, but that 100-meter on the back
other side,
gosh, I bet that's just a killer.
Yeah, from about the time you get that apex of that turn down at what would be turns 1 and 2 for the first 2 turns, that about the middle of 1 and 2, all the way down the backstretch to the middle of the final 2 turns.
Yeah, that takes a lot out of you, and then you've got 200 meters to go.
At least you're getting blown down the front stretch, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd probably get blown over is the problem.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Who am I kidding? I couldn't run 10 meters probably anymore.
Last call for the girls 800. Last call, girls 800. South end of the track. First call, girls 4x4. First call, girls 4x4.
4x4 and 800 being called now. Apparently nobody that's listening to us wants to talk to us.
Did we run the 200 earlier?
No, it's over there. They're getting ready.
Okay.
So it'll be after this 400. This last 400 runs, then they'll go to the 2, then they'll come back for the 8, and then they'll do the 4x4.
So went 4-2-8 for them.
Yeah.
We were close earlier.
Yeah, we were. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
lost track of what we said earlier. What did we say earlier?
Well, earlier we said it 8-4-2, and it's 4-2-8. We had the right 3 events.
Yeah. Order is relative.
Yep. These runners would beg to differ.
I can't believe how close some of these events are for these kids anyway. It's amazing that they're able to recoup that fast and be as competitive as they are.
Well, it's interesting that in junior high, when you get to state, there's such a difference. There's such a time difference between events because there's no prelims and finals. Like in high school, you have prelims one day, finals a day later or 2 days later.
Right.
So for these guys, so if you can just manage to get out of sectional, say you're a really fast runner and you run the 200 and you come back and run the 4x4, you're dying at sectional. But at state, you've got like a 2.5 hour recovery.
Right.
So, but you've got to get yourself out of here first. And these meets that run so fast, especially, a sectional is going to be a lot slower. You have a little more time.
I remember the sectionals back in the day. We used to ICS is going to have first and second here. That's a good run.
Yeah, it is. They look pretty good. This must be the 8th graders.
Yeah.
The young lady from Bushnell still looks strong, and she's in 3rd.
The sectionals, I remember the sectional day was so long. When I was the track manager in junior high, it was so long. We'd leave at like 8 in the morning, and we wouldn't get done until 5 in the evening or something like that. Be there all day long, and you're making sure everybody has suntan lotion, sunscreen on because it's always sunny and hot, it seemed like.
Yep, it's usually first week of May or second week of May, and the sun can be your worst enemy. As if you run later in the day and you let that sun zap you, man, it can be a killer. The ones that have the tents and stay out of the sun and are smart.
You know, it's funny you say that. When we were young, nobody had tents. We just sat in the bleachers all day in the sun.
Yeah, and we didn't think, but we were outside a lot more.
Yeah, but now they have tents, and everybody has their own tent, a little pop-up tent, or mom and dad come and bring oranges and water, and it's so different than it was when,
it is.
when we were when we did it.
Boy, if we'd have had tents and oranges and a bottle of water, I don't know how fast I could have run.
I'm telling you. Even I would have been fast then, I think.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have.
We all would have been a little bit faster.
You would have taken 2 tents off, I bet.
Maybe.
On sectional day. 2 tents.
2 tents.
A tent, extra water, and orange slices, 2/10 of a second. 2/10 of a second on every event. Don't you think?
I would think you'd have to be somewhat faster.
Yeah. I mean, the oranges would make you feel better. The tent would make you so much cooler.
I went to a sectional once where we didn't respect the sun, and it zapped us in the second half of the meet. And I swore I'd never let that happen again. It's a real thing.
There is no doubt that is a fact. The 200-meter dash, 7th grade, is underway.
Young lady from West Praire out to a good start, and so is that lady from Costa.
Lane 5, it looks like.
3 and 5 might be close.
They come around, evened up, and West
Wow.
Praire is out front. Here comes
4,
ICS, a good kick.
Wow.
She's closing in a hurry, but West Praire kind of held off the kick. Can she hold it off long enough? Doesn't look like she's going to be able to. ICS takes the lead with about 20 meters to go.
It's right down to, that is close. I think ICS got it.
And they both turned around and gave each other a high five.
That would have been West Praire in second and third.
Ethan, who'd you say that girl is, the West Praire runner that was fast? Did you tell me who that was earlier? It's not her? Oh, so you lied to us earlier.
No. The girl on the 4x1
What?
was a blonde girl, Madeline Sullivan.
Yeah, but McCarty or
McCurdy.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
no, that was the. I'm sorry. Yep, that was the 400 meter, right?
I can't recognize who that is from this far away.
And she's limping a little as she walks off.
I got to know the 7th grade girls pretty well doing all their volleyball games.
Oh, yes, she did. Yeah, Ethan is running the camera for me tonight, and he's going to do a couple softball games for me anyway. Ethan did all the junior high stuff essentially at West Praire, so he knows all the West Praire junior high girls pretty well. The boys basketball team, I guess, got to do some of those, and then the junior high girls basketball team really didn't get to do much anything. We do apologize. I found out the next day that they had a game on Monday night at home. We didn't realize that was going on.
Looks like we got 5 girls, maybe 6. We got some people holding blocks. So we're gonna have another heat of this, maybe 2.
Supposed to be a high school meet here Monday night?
Tuesday night, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think is Monday night at Lewiston.
I'm going to look. I'll tell you in just a second here because I've got it on my phone.
Guns up.
You got this? Mr. Butcher, you want to call this? And I'll
sure.
look that up.
A clean start. We've got someone from ICS in the middle lane, probably in 4, that has made up the stagger and then some. The young lady from Costa in 3 is staying with her somewhat. We've got Costa in lane 6, West Praire in lane 5. Costa's making a push here at the end out of lane 3, is closing the gap and has a shot, but I don't think, nope, ICS slowed down too early and about got caught, but I believe she held on for the win.
Well, we can read off 7th and 8th grade boys shot put. That's awesome.
Hey, all right, I didn't know we were.
Well, they'd only bring it. Seems like I get shot put all the time, so I appreciate it very much. Let's see. First place goes to Austin Nelson from West Praire with a throw of 35 feet 3 inches. Second place goes to Elijah Knoll from ICS. Might be Noel. 32 feet 9 inches. Third place goes to Nick Houston from ICS with 29 feet 9 inches. Fourth place goes to Christian Grable from BPC with a 23.11.5-inch throw. Fifth place goes to Eli DeCounter from West Praire with a 23-foot 4-inch throw. And sixth place goes to Alex Akers from BPC with a 19 feet 2-inch throw. Seventh was Cam Melvin from West Praire, 16 feet 7 inches. And eighth was Cade Chambers from West Praire with 16 feet 3.5 inches. That's 7th grade, I believe. Is that 8th grade or 7th grade? 7th grade. Here's the 8th grade.
Eli DeCounter, is that Sam DeCounter's?
It is.
Yes.
I don't think he's a 7th grader.
He's a 6th grader.
Oh,
he is a 6th grader. That is correct.
Good for him.
Cade Chambers had a baseball game too.
Ah, keep him busy.
Summer ball baseball last night. Cade and Eli played baseball last night. This is a year unlike any year ever has been or probably ever will be with the amount of stuff played on top of each other.
Let's hope so. Did you see on the news the other night the wrestling in Peoria outside on the football field?
No, I did not see that.
They took the mats outside, had fans in the stand. We're underway, and they said that was the first time ever. They'll always remember that.
I saw another school do that a while back, that they were going to put the mats. Maybe it was up in the Quad Cities or something like that. They were talking about doing that.
Well, if you get a sunburn wrestling, you're either at
You're doing
WrestleMania outside.
2 ICS runners out front.
Side by side. Lane 4 is starting to run away with it.
Not very often you see a sprinter run with their head down like that, is it?
Nope. They're going to go 1-2, and West Praire is going to get third with Costa coming in fourth.
For the 8th grade boys shot put, Brock Beekman from BPC picked up the win, 32 feet 6 inches. Second place went to Ethan McKim from BPC with a 28-foot 6-inch throw. Third place went to Sal Kistler from Costa with a 27-foot 1-inch throw. Fourth place to Alex Harmon from West Prairie, 24 feet 6 inches. Fifth place to Jackson Gillen from ICS, 20 feet 7 inches. And sixth place went to Ty Moore from ICS, 18 feet 10 inches. So we'll hold on to those to make sure Coach gets those later. And we got another flight of 200 coming, don't we?
Yeah, this should be our last one.
A lot of people here today.
Yes, quite a few. We've got 6 more in this heat.
8th grade, 200, 2 through 7. 2 through 7.
It's a much nicer day than the last track meet.
Yeah, you were here for the cold one, weren't you? Yeah, Ethan was here for the cold one, and it was bitter cold. Like, we were cold in here cold. I think it was, 40 degrees that day or something like that, Ethan?
With wind, too.
Yeah. It was one of those days where Miles was running the camera up here and couldn't hold his fingers, or couldn't move his fingers again. Boy, ICS in lane 3 or 4 is closing that gap in a hurry.
Yep, shot out, and ICS has got someone in lane 2 that's looking pretty good.
That's Keely Lieb in lane 3. ICS in 7 and 4.
They're 1, 2, 3.
They are.
The young lady from Bushnell is going to hold off Costa for 4th. Now, where will they go to high school, ICS?
I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, they're only through 8th grade, right?
Right.
ICS is only through 8th grade, right, Ethan? Do you know that for sure? So I don't know if they can go to a.
Well, you got Monmouth Roseville, but don't you also have Warren, who's in with?
Yeah.
I mean,
but they don't necessarily. They could go to somewhere else too, right?
I mean, I'm sure. Is ICS private?
I believe that it is.
I believe
it's
it is
a private Catholic school.
So
Immaculate Conception.
Right. Yeah, they could go.
They could be coming from anywhere, essentially, right? I mean,
correct.
For lack of a, I think there is some rules and regulations, but
yeah, I would guess they're in and around that area and just choosing the private school.
There isn't a private high school up there, though, is there?
No, not that I know
of. There is a private high school in Galesburg that is a Christian Catholic school, but it's a very small school that doesn't play. It's not a member of IHSA. It's a member of the Catholic school, Catholic school league that's in Illinois.
That sounds right. I don't know how close they are to Quad Cities, I guess. Maybe, what are they, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
That would be quite a jaunt.
So the boys are getting ready for their 100-meter dashes while we've got the 800 and then the 4x400 yet to come. Here for the final junior high track meet of the season, we should just give Ethan a headset too, shouldn't we? Let Ethan talk too. We've been asking him so many questions.
I've been on there enough.
he says he'll take a break for today. I can't say as I blame him. I wouldn't mind taking a break myself.
I wonder if they'll get all these girls into one heat. It looks like they're going to try.
I bet they will do their best, but I bet those boys down there better get off the track too.
Yep.
Yeah, West Prairie boys are.
Looks like 7
second
total
time
runners.
they've been on the track. What's that?
Looks like 7 total runners down here. Am I in your way? I'm doing it, aren't I? 7 of them. Surely that's all. There was only 1 miler. So.
Yeah, I can't believe there'd be 7 7th graders in the 800. suppose there could be, and we're off. Did you hear the gun that time?
I did. I was watching.
Oh, so you cheated.
I did. I saw it.
Two laps here in the 800. And they get to the red flag and can condense, right? That's what the red flag's there for. Am I right on that?
Yep, that's the cut in. Should be a line over there or something else marking it. But maybe not. That may be the sole purpose of the red flag.
It's like West Prairie is out front, ICS in second, BPC third, and West Prairie fourth.
Yep. That's a young lady in the back from Bushnell that ran the 1600 earlier.
Yes, it is.
So she's at a slight disadvantage, being the only one out there that ran a mile earlier.
So the high school kids that when I was shooting highlights the other day, high school or last night to highlight the kids that were talking about the 800, we're calling the 800 still a sprint.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this the last time I had you on. The 400 is definitely a sprint. I don't know that I could call the 800 a distance run, right?
It is, because the 100 is called the dash, the 200 is called the dash, and the 400 is called the dash. The 8, 16, and 32 is called a run. So that'd be the difference. You're not going to get me to sprint it. Now, last night we had a young lady from West Prairie running last night. Her mom's Rhonda, that coaches. I can't think of her, used to coach.
Malia?
Yeah, man. She looked. She's something else. You tell her to sprint it, I would say she'd keep up her end of the bargain. I think she ran a 2:22 last night, first meet of the season. That's pretty darn good. Oh, well, she should.
What were we looking at for next week?
Monday and Tuesday.
There's not any high school track meets home. The Muggs McGinnis relays are the 19th, which is
Monday like Prairie Land at Lewiston or something?
Yes, I believe so. There's no home track meets next week.
Okay.
What is today? 6th?
Today is, yes, 6th.
Yeah, there's no home track meets next week at all. West Prairie runners up front.
Yep, 1 and 2. And we've got a young lady from Bushnell pushing for third.
Might hear Sam DeCounter, the coach, down here in front.
Ooh. Bushnell might have got herself into fourth there at the end. It's pretty close.
One last BPC runner.
Yep. Now this is 7th and 8th grade mixed, so whatever she finishes here, she's getting points for somebody. So.
And as you said, she is a little ways behind here, but you got to give her some props. She's the only person that ran the mile.
Yeah, and she didn't tank it.
So
she looked decent, and she sprinted it at the end. So, I mean, she could have walked it and got the 10 points for the team earlier, and she didn't. So, kudos to her.
So she was at a definite little bit of a disadvantage here in the 800 when none of those other kids ran anything. Well, they might have ran something else, but they didn't run anything long like the 1600.
No.
They had Natalie Moore from West Prairie, I think. The Natalie Moore from West Prairie, believed to be the winner of the 800 there. I was going to say last night, A-Town, they run a 3200, right, in high school?
Yeah.
There was only one, and it was an A-Town kid.
Yeah.
And he got done, and he said, "Never again." And all the other schools were giving him a hard time. Oh, yes, you will. You'll do it again. All the kids were 3,200, and he ran the whole thing. I mean, he didn't walk. If you're not a distance runner, a mile is bad enough. A 2 mile would just be killer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I ran the 2 mile a few times in high school. 8 laps seems like a lot.
No, 8 laps is a lot.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like a lot. It is a lot.
You're right.
It seems like overkill is what it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see maybe a mile and a half, but the 2 mile. How long is cross country?
3.1. 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles. So that would be 12 laps and an extra 100 meters, which is the extra 100 meters is, well, 3.1. It's not quite 100 meters. That extra would be a real kick in the butt. And they run. They run the. What's the one in college that they run? That's like 25 laps. It's at 5,000. They run the 5,000 meter.
Oh yeah,
they run the 10,000 meter too in college. Yeah.
So that's like distance running. I mean, that's like marathon type running. Not a marathon, but you know what I'm saying. It's that's more than cross country and everything else, right? Is the cross country longer in college than it is in high school?
I really don't know. I'm not sure.
4 by 400 now.
Looks like we've got 2 teams, both from West Praire.
So probably a 7th grade and an 8th grade team, I would imagine.
Probably.
I can't give enough props to West Praire.
Yeah.
Those kids are out here hustling their butts off, and they're doing it for essentially a week or 2 week season.
Well,
I
maybe
am
these
impressed.
guys will make this an interesting race.
Trying anyway.
Oh, that's Rick, right?
Kurt Rigg.
Kurt Rigg.
Yep.
Yes, he's the bullpen guy. He does a really nice job.
Yes, he is. And he does.
That's the key to keep your meet running. That's your number one guy. Is you got to have a good bullpen guy, and he's been out here every night, junior high, high school, both, and he keeps them moving.
Yep. He does do a good job, and you can't thank enough those. I mean, maybe he gets paid a little bit, but to be here, to have a real job, and to be here every meet, no matter what you're getting paid, that's some serious dedication.
You don't have to call him. You give him a schedule at the beginning of the year, and you know that if he can't make it, he'll call you.
Right.
And you just never worry about it. And that's a key job, and he's here and just does it. That's invaluable. You just know he's going to be here, and that job's taken care of.
Anytime you can get help like that,
Yes.
especially in this day and age, you can't pay those people enough to pay them what they're worth. I mean, if that makes any sense. Their worth is immeasurable.
You're absolutely correct. The run a track meet takes a lot of people between the field events and the timing and the hurdles and exchange zones.
All the other coaches that help with all the stuff too. And I saw Mrs. Pensinger was out here last night. The former principal at the elementary school was over measuring shot put last night.
Oh, was she?
I asked her. I said, "You just can't get away from this place, huh?" She says, she jokingly said, "Oh, Tony Akers has too much dirt on me. I can't." Mrs. Pensinger was the music teacher when I went to elementary school here, and she is a great, great lady. She actually sung at my mother's funeral, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yep. She is. I don't know if she still sings, but she had a wonderful voice back in the day. Not sure that some people lose that as they get older, and some people just keep on singing. So Not sure how that works for her, but.
Well, that's great that she was out here helping with shot put. I wouldn't put it past Tony to hold something over her head, but let's hope he doesn't have anything on her.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he doesn't. I said to her though. I said it'd be a lot better to be the person with the stuff than the person responding to the stuff, wouldn't it? She says, "Yeah, it'd be a lot better that way." Tony's another guy that's been around here coaching for years and years.
Yes,
he's gave a lot. I mean, he worked for the school, obviously, but he's given a lot back to this community through his coaching efforts through the years, for sure.
Yep, that's another guy that's just always there.
He informed me last night when I was looking at doing a track meet that he was not talking to me. It's Jan Hensley's responsibility to talk to me. If anybody talks about track, it's Jan Hensley's responsibility.
Well, if there's one thing that Tony's grown into, it's being cantankerous, and he's gotten better at that at his old age.
He was pretty good at it at a young age.
Yes, he was. I first met Tony when I was in college, and we played against each other in a 3-on-3 tournament, him and his brother. And I thought they were old then, but they were a lot stronger than I was. I got knocked around the court quite a bit.
Oh, I had some of my best memories of men's league basketball is playing men's league basketball against Tony Akers. He was way better than me, but he used to get behind you. I'd post people up even though I couldn't jump or whatever, and he'd just stick his knee right between your legs and just pick you up and move you.
This is what I was telling him the other day. I said I distinctly remember I would have you boxed out and you would run your knee and move me so far under the basket it didn't matter I had you boxed out. He's like, hey.
Yeah.
Refs didn't call it. There were no refs. That is hilarious that you have the exact same story.
Yeah.
He's a cheater. I'm going to say it right here on live stream.
I'll tell you what, I told everybody that I've played basketball with. I said Tony is the most fun guy ever, because I had to play that way because I wasn't athletic. So I had to take every possible avenue that I could, hidden and otherwise, to try to, I remember one time he knocked me down and stole the ball from me, and they didn't call it, and I just reached up and grabbed his offhand, right on the forearm, grabbed it and pulled him, spun him around, and he turned around, no whistle. He looked at me and I'm like, what? I didn't see anything. He was most definitely better than I was, though. But those are the most fun people to play with, when they want to just have fun, and they'll mess with you and you can mess back, and that's what sports should be about, especially at the adult level.
Yeah. Well, getting to know him over the years on either coaching against each other in football, or I'd see him at track meets. He still gives me a hard time. He used to tape my kids' ankles because I was so bad at it. They would, if Bushnell was at the track meet, they'd go find him. He's like, Butcher, what are you trying to do to these kids?
Oh, that's funny stuff right there. We're going to take a short break, play a couple commercials, and we'll be back here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, right after this.
As we work together to stop the spread of COVID-19, McDonough District Hospital wants you to know that your health and safety are our #1 priority.
Our primary care providers are here to take care of you and your family's total well-being. Telehealth capabilities and the MDH Convenience Clinic all provide ease of access to our wide range of services.
All of this because we are committed to providing you quality and compassionate care that you have come to trust from us.
McDonough District Hospital. More than hospital care, a hospital caring.
Some farmers I know swear by a name. Say they'd never operate anything else. Well, here are a few names for my Fendt 900 Gen 6 series. Fuel Saver. Time Maximizer. Game Changer. I like those names.
Welcome back here to Bushnell Prairie City High School as we're getting ready for the boys' track events while the girls' field events getting underway now as a 100-meter dash for the boys. 7th graders getting ready to go here.
Lanes 2 through 8 filled.
First heat is underway, and it's a Costa runner on the inside. He has got really good form. On the outside,
Yep.
I guess lane 8, right?
Yep, it looks like Costa's going 1-2. West Praire went 3-4. Well, we're just slightly over halfway in the meet. I'm going to predict that the 4x4 finishes at 6:07.
You're going to say that's when it's going to finish?
Yep, that's my bold prediction for the
I'm going to say
event.
6:15.
All right.
You going to mark that down?
I'll remember it. I say that, but my memory's going.
This meet being brought to you here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH by the Community News Brief. The Community News Brief is a free publication distributed to over 68 locations in Bushnell, Macomb, Colchester, Industry, Adair, and other towns throughout the area. It provides local news to McDonough County and parts of Fulton County every Monday, Wednesday, and they have a brand new paper that they're doing every Friday. To submit press releases or get advertising information for the locally owned publication, contact Lynn at 309-333-8245 or email communitybrief@gmail.com. As we're still waiting to get the times set for the 7th grade. Looks like we got another flight of 8th graders coming after this second flight of 7th graders. Meet being brought to you by Tri-County Seeds. Tri-County Seeds is your local Golden Harvest seed advisor located in Scioto. Rooted in genetics, agronomy, and service for over 10 years. Contact Nate Todd at 309-333-3437 for all of your Golden Harvest corn, soybean, and seed treatment needs. Might have heard the whistle. That means Mr. Sargent is ready to go. Pulls the gun from the holster, and we'll get ready to go. Costa runner took one last time through the blocks on the test. Take your mark, right?
Correct.
Set, and then the gun. That's the simple terminology that's used, correct?
Or runners to your mark. Runners take your mark, something like that.
Costa in lane 2 and lane 6, it looks like, is going to lead the way.
Bushnell in 3rd.
So we got one more fly to the 100, it looks like.
Should be third call for the 4x2 boys. Third call, 4x2 boys, south end of track, please. 8th grade 100, lanes 1 through 8.
We've got ICS, West Praire, and BPC in this group. I don't see any Costa runners in this group, however. Also being brought to you by Bushnell Banking Center, a branch of Raritan State Bank located at 360 South Green Street in Bushnell. Offers full-service banking and loan services for all of your banking needs. Come visit the bank of friendly service or call them at 309-772-2345. Good luck, Cyclones and Spartans. Bushnell Banking Center is an equal housing lender and a member FDIC. Ready to go. Final flight of 100-meter dash. ICS out front. Cyclone running in second, and ICS is third and fourth.
Runner in lane 4 looked really smooth.
Yes, he was smooth and fast. That's what everybody always said. I ran like I looked like I was fast, but I didn't. It didn't end up in being fast. Does that make any sense at all? I had the form, but the follow through didn't work or something. I don't know what it was. I remember in like first or second grade, I went to this thing. I don't know if you did this back in a long time ago. Obviously, I went to Southern when I was until after second grade, and we went to back when it was Union, the Union School in Biggsville before they co-opted to be West Central. It was Union and Southern, the two schools over there.
Yep.
And we went over there, and I remember I was little. Must have been after first grade. Or during second grade maybe. And we did like a baseball throw, and we did the 50-yard dash and some stuff like that.
Yep.
And I used to be skinny, and people thought I was fast back then, and that lasted until about third grade. I moved to Bushnell, and I apparently got lazier when I moved to Bushnell, and it didn't go. My speed left me. Of course, my parents weren't fast, so that might have been part of it too, huh?
Yeah, I used to think I was fast when I was younger.
I knew I wasn't fast.
First call, boys, 4x1. First call, boys, 4x1.
I was really skinny until I was about 10. Then I got fat. Then I grew up again and got somewhat skinny.
Going to start the 1600 here. Looks like 3 runners.
Well, that's 2 more than girls had, right?
Yep.
It's like 2, a Costa maybe, a Costa, a BPC, and a Cyclone. Getting the mile on the racetrack now here for the boys in the junior high quad meet here at BPC. As we have, of course, the BPC Spartans. Also here is West Praire Cyclones, Costa, and Monmouth ICS. Those are the 4 schools represented here today. One lap in the books here, this time by for the Costa runner who is leading. The long jump that we tried to show a little bit of last time is a little harder to do because they're jumping the other way today. We mentioned that a little bit earlier, so we aren't really showing the long jump. I guess we could try to show the high jump a little bit, maybe, if we wanted to, but they're over there practicing the high jump right now, but they are. The high jump for the boys last night got up to 5.7. That was a BWP jumper.
Yeah.
5.7.
Yep.
Is that about average?
I'd say 5.6, 5.8's average. You get into 6 foot, you get into your good jumpers. I think one of our young men last night, he had a bad night. He normally does a lot better than that. I think they both, maybe one cleared 5.6 and one cleared 5.4.
Yeah, Geltmacher is the one that struggled, I think, last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he. That was his first meet, though. I think that was the West Praire kids' first meet, right?
Yeah.
And only they practiced 2 nights, and again, those kind of events, the high jump, the long jump. I guess if you had a shot put, you could jump you could throw the shot and a discus at home to practice, but you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to throw or jump the high jump. I mean, you could do the jump, I guess, but you wouldn't know if you were really clearing a bar unless you had some way to set a bar up, right?
Right.
I mean, your footwork you get your footwork down, but I think from watching the kid that I got to watch, the boy that I got to watch last night, your takeoff, your location of your takeoff is as important as how you take off, meaning you can't be too close to the bar, you can't be too far away from the bar. You got to be
correct.
You got to be at that spot, right, or that
yes.
sweet spot, so to speak.
The distance away. To do that properly, you really get into some geometry to figure out your steps and the angle that you take, the angle that you take on your approach. And again, I taught a lot of different things, so I was never really good at anything. I knew a little bit about everything. Relays was probably my expertise, but I used to teach kids in the gym the approach for the high jump when they were younger. Is we would set the high jump up in the gym at the top of the key and tell them to run the 3-point line, and that was kind of the J that they would take on their approach, and that was a good way to teach a beginner.
I tried to high jump one time, and I cleared whatever 3 feet bar it was or whatever, but I missed the mat almost. If you jump too late, your momentum will take you right past the mat.
Right onto the ground. Yep. Good thing it was only at 3 feet.
Well, I couldn't jump much higher than that. But I'll tell you what, it made me respect those people that do the jumping, the high jump and stuff like that, because you don't think about, I'm just clearing the bar, but you don't, if you're not used to, you don't think about, I have to land somewhere, right? So, of course, I would guess that bar sags a little in the middle, so you want to jump through the middle, right?
You do want to get, that should be the shortest area, yeah. Yeah, you want your energy to go up, and if you're not used to it, if you've got enough speed, your energy may go too far to the side.
Which is what I did.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you want inertia to take you over the bar and to clear it and land on your back, but you're trying to get your momentum to focus into going up.
So it's kind of almost like a mixture of speed to get you to a point for lift.
Right. I used to teach them too. If you were coming from the what I call a right-handed jumper, jumping off your left foot, I would teach them to raise their hands up, and then when you came to that last step, before you jumped, you'd throw your hands down to your toes, and then throw yourself back up, and that was your hands help take you up and over. It also helps you kick your head back. If you get your head back, then that gets your butt up. Naturally, if you look up, your back arches, your butt goes up, and what hits the bar the most is your butt. The second most would be your calves, because you forget to kick your legs. But if you get your head back, your butt naturally goes up, and you immediately add 6 to 8 inches to your jump. But that's just right there. That's a lot of coaching points. And that's a lot to get over to a kid.
You don't do that in a couple weeks, do you?
No. Nope.
And the mile is complete with Costa getting the win. The good camera operator was on the camera for a few minutes. Now the other one's back. You know we're going to keep giving you a hard time about that, right, Ethan? No doubt, right? Yeah. No, this is the 4x2. 4x2, I think. This should be the 4x2. I'm not in the shot, am I? Okay. Can I get in the shot?
All my 4x1 runners should be here at the south end. Also calling, first call, 400 Bowman.
Can you text me the link to this? Somebody's asked me for it, and I can't seem to. Every time I try to get the link, the sound comes on my phone.
Yeah, I can get it to you. I think. There it is.
Thank you.
I copied it earlier. That's the only reason why I had it. So we are getting ready for the 4x2 as we tend to get a little lackadaisical on our announcing here, folks. I apologize for that, but we don't get a whole lot of information up here, so we tend to be forced to fill a lot of time or have a little bit of dead time. So we hope that you don't get too offended by us. But it's always better to have Mr. Butcher here so we can talk about something intelligent with track rather than me just finding something to talk about outside of track.
Well, sometimes, oh boy.
Costa kid is way out in front.
He is, but that kid from
Cyclone
West Prairie has really
closed the gap pretty good.
He's on the inside. Costa's on the outside, so this is interesting because it's a long ways to go, 600 more meters with being on the inside. They got to the exchange first.
Yeah.
But who knows where they were at on that exchange.
So in actuality, West Prairie might have closed the gap, even though it looked like Costa got out on them pretty good. And that gap is not real big, actually, as they come down the front stretch that one time there. 2 more exchanges to go.
Yeah, they're a couple of lanes apart. I'd say he's made up some. There, the exchanges went at the exact same time, so maybe they're back to even.
Boy, that kid, that kid from Costa's got good stride, doesn't he?
He's got a good stride, but this is the killer right here. This is where the wind's blowing in your face. He's starting to slow
That
down.
Eli over there running for Eli DeCounter, running for West Prairie. Ethan, can you tell?
He looks good. He's making up some ground on West Prairie. Oh, wow. Costa's made their exchange already. They are about 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, that's ICS is trying to close on West Prairie, but West Prairie made the exchange several seconds ahead.
Now this is ICS is making up the gap on West Prairie still.
Closing fast. Does he have enough time?
I don't know if there's enough time. It looks like he's got a shot. It's going to be right at the wire.
I think he did.
Oh, boy, I don't know.
I think he got him, didn't he?
He looked like he leaned first.
But he might have been behind, which is why he leaned first.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. Good run.
That Costa team is fast.
Has West Prairie got a second 7th grade team? Or is that – oh, that's –
I'm guessing second, third, and eighth. Second or third and eighth and first and seventh, that would be my guess. Oh, no, there's another 4x2. No, this is a 4x1 coming now.
Oh, okay. So one of those was probably 7th grade. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the 4x1. Now each of these exchange zone judges is supposed to talk to each of those kids and make sure they're ready. And then when they're ready, they throw up the white flag. And when the starter sees white flags at all 3 exchange zones, then they're good to start the race.
Looks like I know that there's 8th graders out there because Ethan McKim is over there in the third leg for BPC.
Yeah, we've got 2 BPC teams.
So I'm guessing that this outside lane is the outside one is the 7th grade team, I believe.
And it looks like a Costa kid is getting to the third leg late. I know he's went to pick up his stuff, so maybe they don't have anybody in this heat. They must not.
Nope, they don't. I don't see a 4x1 in this group anyway.
They've had a lot of fast runners today. I would have thought they'd had a 4x1.
Well, they're only allowed how many relays are you allowed?
We asked Andy this the other day, and I think
it's only one relay, isn't it?
No, they're the white flags are going up. No, I think you're allowed more than that. But in order, the exact reason why they do it is so it's not the same kids. To get more kids, I believe, involved and to split those up. Now in high school, 4x1 and 4x2 is quite a ways apart, and oftentimes it's the same kids. Now you could. If I had 4 really fast 4x2 runners, I'd have them right back on this in the 4x1. Because running 100 meters is, if 200 wears you out, you're not in shape, which I'm not in shape. So,
so you're saying that? Oh, is that a double shot? It was, wasn't it?
I think it just.
It was a double shot, but it was everybody's going.
Did it echo from where he was standing, maybe off the wall?
Look at BPC take off there. That was a good exchange, too.
Couple of underhanded
West Prairie
handoffs.
closing on the inside. He is closing in a hurry.
Uh-oh, he left a little soon. Got to him. All the exchanges made. West Prairie's getting close. It's going to be up to these. Bushnell gets the exchange first.
Oh, here comes West Prairie, though.
Yep, their anchor is moving. Holy smokes.
He closed a bunch.
We got another one from West Prairie here that looks really good in lane 8. Yep. Oh, Bushnell's going to
closing on ICS.
Fourth. Yep.
This is 7th and 8th grade together, so. That West Prairie, that final leg of West Prairie, for I would guess it'd be the 8th grade, he had to close what? He had to change difference 15 to 20 meters in that 100, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was a bunch. Whew. There's been some fast kids here today.
Yeah, there has.
This is the 3rd or 4th track meet we've done, and I would say that this has been the best track meet that we've done too. Of course, if the Sand Valley conference meet was now, it would probably be better too, right?
Yeah, it would look better. As we noted, the first meet we were out here, there weren't anybody using blocks. The weather was cold. They hadn't had that many practices. This season has started later too. Usually the track meets start, it's so cold out. For high school to have their first meet in May, a lot of times you're having your first meet in the end of March.
Yeah, and I know that when I coached baseball here, our first game was March 21st several years because we'd play on all-weather turf down at Jacksonville.
Okay,
open the season.
Sure.
And they would have already ran an indoor meet or two.
Oh, yeah.
In high school before that.
Yeah. Now, indoor, you can start practicing track in high school in the middle of January, somewhere between 15th and 20th, whatever that Monday is. And there are a lot of kids that do that. I never started practice, but I coached girls until their February. I tried to wait till their basketball season was done, but sometimes their basketball team was really good, so I started earlier. But we would have an indoor meet by the end of February, and have another one in March, and then next thing you know, you'd have the indoor state meet, which was not official state, but an invitation, and that would be in late March, after you'd had an outdoor meet. So it's different. If you've ever been to an indoor meet on those 200-meter tracks,
you run a lot of laps. Like the
You do.
1600 is 8 laps, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so the 2 mile would be a 16
I'll
or
tell
whatever.
you what, the straightails are short, so you run a 60-meter dash and a 60-meter hurdle or a 55 hurdle. When you get some high school boys that are fast, they almost can't stay in their lane on those curves. They're so fast. I'd like to see a college meet sometime on an indoor track.
Cyclones leading here in the 400. 2 BPC runners in lanes 2 and 3. Ethan McKim is running in the 400 here, and he just lost his mask. So you run the 4x1 and come back and run the 400. I think the good camera lady's down there trying to give the not so good cameraman some hints down there, if I'm hearing things right. It's always somebody else's fault, Ethan. Get the people in the stands. I think she wants to be on camera, too. Hey, we could give her a microphone. She could go down and do some interviews.
Yeah. Get out there and run. We'll get you on camera.
Ethan's going to show a little long jump from the far side. Those kids are a long ways away.
Sarge is making his way down for the 200.
His daughter's walking with him, it would appear. I think that's who that is.
Is that Leah?
I believe so. Maybe he's training. She's got a yellow sleeve on. Is he training her to shoot? To be a starter?
I don't know. Maybe. Be a good way to make some money as a kid.
Yeah, you can't get yelled at too much as a track starter, can you?
No.
I mean, as far as officiating goes, that would be
that's the one.
the job to have.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs the clock at basketball games, and he gets yelled at way more than he'd ever get yelled at here, and all he's doing is running the clock.
2 through 6. 2 through 6.
Here's the 200 right now. Lanes 2 through 6. Looks like we'll have maybe 3 heats here. Looks like there's another group of 7th graders coming after them maybe. See, now right there is the worst part of the 200. You wear your sweatshirt over there and you stay warm, and then you have to drop it, and then you have to walk all the way back over there when you're done to get it.
Yep, you're right. That's the worst part of the 4x2, too.
4x2, too?
Yeah, 2 also.
There's no blocks over there.
Nobody's using it anyway. There's some over there.
I did not speak correctly there. They are there. They just aren't using them.
West Praire out to a big lead.
Yeah, he's taking off in a hurry. That's a good run. Matthew is who that is. I'm not sure what Matthew's last name is, but another heat of 7th grade, it would appear, to come.
Looks like we got 2 more heats of the 200. This looks like a 7th grade group.
Having bring you this broadcast is McDonough Telephone Cooperative. All of our West Prairie game streams are made possible by McDonough Telephone's fiber internet. McDonough Telephone offers lightning fast and reliable fiber internet, video, phone, and camera systems to the McDonough County area. Call 309-776-3211 to check your availability. She's got the sleeve pulled up. Oh, here she is. She's going to do it. She's going to do it this time. She's pointing it right at Mr. Rigg. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Looks like Kurt's getting her picture. Still no blocks. Yep, Kurt got a picture of her. Good deal. I thought I saw her start the 1600 earlier.
She just set off a car alarm. This is going to be a close race. West Prairie's out front, but ICS is there, and ICS is there, and ICS is there. It'll be a close.
It's going to be close.
At the stripe.
Lane 2 and 5 battling it out. Looks like West Prairie took it.
Hope that's not my car.
I used to set those off if I ran too fast.
Hey, take my keys down and make sure it's not my car.
Tough crowd.
Because it sounds close. Thank you. Just unlock. Just hit the alarm button again. I think.
All right, now let's call the police.
Yeah. I don't think it's mine. I'm hoping it's coming from farther away. I would think it'd sound more below us if it was mine, right? Because I'm parked right here.
Yeah, I can't tell where it's coming from. It's not far.
Must not be mine. I think he's coming back up already. 8th grade the 8th grade 200.
Not yours.
That's what we like to hear. Hey, zoom in on the starter. Could you do that? She's hiding behind the bushes over there almost. So we can get her second start here for the 200-meter dash.
Nice job. And she shut the car alarm off.
Nope, it started again. Oh, this is a good race.
Yeah, it is.
ICS runner's got good form, too.
That young man is smooth. Those other runners aren't bad. That other guy's is really good. Hey, do you think you could get a close-up on the shot putters?
Is that a parent over there?
I don't know. Somebody's in jeans.
That's a pretty good throw.
Good form. If that was a mom, that's pretty good.
I'm going to show the shot put. I think there's either a coach or a parent over there, or maybe a former student. We can't tell from this far away. I don't know if that's Tessa or Leah. I can't remember which one it is, but I apologize for that. I should know the sergeant girls better. As Ethan zooms in to find out if it's Tessa or not. Yeah, it's all her fault.
Look at the proud papa walking beside his daughter after she started a couple 200s.
Yeah, he is. There's nothing. You can't have enough help.
No.
And it just. I wonder if that's Sierra Shannon's mom.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 lined up
for the 800.
For the 800. Kurt's already got them lined up before Sarge gets there. Hey, get close and see who that is with the ponytail.
That's an ICS runner.
Yeah.
We might have to do some checking. I think that was Sierra Shannon's dad, and I don't know if that was who that was over there with them, but I'm pretty sure it was Sierra Shannon's dad over there with them.
Okay.
Don't know who the girl was that threw for sure, but it was somebody in that group anyway.
4x4 boys to be the south end of track on the blue benches. That's race of the evening.
Oh, there's no 4x400 tonight apparently. He said it's the last race of the evening.
What?
Costa had a 4x400 team last time, but they may have decided to pull them since they didn't have any competition tonight. She's going to start this group too, it would appear. So our last race of the night, I guess. They are still throwing some discus on the far side a little bit, it looks like, but they're about done with that as well. They're still jumping at the long jump pit.
Yeah, the long jump and the discus are usually the ones that take a while.
And I got one jumper still practicing, I think, as the 800 is underway.
Yeah, I think they're just practicing on the high jump now.
Yeah.
The elder Sarge started that race.
Get right behind. This is a day on that backstretch. You'd stay behind somebody. You could probably have a little bit of a windbreak, wouldn't you?
I would think so. That's what I would do.
Being the head goose in this deal would not be the thing to be, would it?
No. And this guy that's tucking in behind first, he's letting him take all the wind.
Pretty good string of them in the back that are staying pretty close to nose to tail, as we like to say in the auto racing world. That Costa long distance runner won both of his mile and 800 the last time they were here as well. The 800 is just long enough that you can get a few kids to do it. The mile is like, no way, I don't want it.
Yeah.
The mile just sounds like a lot farther.
It does. If you get your PE teachers to get them out there and do some miles, it really takes the scariness off of that. Once you get to high school and you try to introduce 3,200 to them,
that's way too many numbers for me.
Yeah. Every now and then you get somebody that's not right in the head, and they
like it.
They look forward to it. Yeah.
That was you. Did you run to 32 a few times? Is that what I heard?
I ran it because I was always looking for something I was good at. I never found it.
Oh. So you tried it just to see.
Yeah. I ran it at sectionals, and I didn't finish last.
That's how you know that you're doing something that you don't think you're good at when you're just happy you didn't finish last.
Yeah.
Good kick here for both those top two finishers. Costa's going to win. Cyclone second. There's going to be a good battle here for the third, fourth, and fifth spots. BPC got third. Guessing that's an 8th grade runner. And the final runner of the meet, I do believe.
Nope, we got one over here.
Oh, we got one over there, Nick. Sorry, I apologize. There is Kurt Riggs said this was the last race of the day on the microphone a few minutes ago.
Was he calling for the 4x4, saying it was the last race?
I don't know.
He's putting his jacket on.
I thought he said this will be the final race of the day.
It looks like he might be lining up some 4x4 runners.
Yeah, maybe he is, and I might have misunderstood him. I did only catch the end of it. Final runner of the 800 crossing the line for BPC here.
Still got a few out at the discus. Still got several over at the long jump.
If Mandy Promising was home still on quarantine watching this, she would have commented on my questions. But she's here watching today, so. It's cooling off.
It is.
We're inside out of the wind, and you can feel the little difference in the temperature.
This is a good time to be about done.
Hey, what time is it?
It is 5:52.
Holy smokes. We might be earlier than either one of us thought.
Yep.
This will probably take, 5 minutes, 6 minutes?
I'd say 6 minutes. he gets this
You're going to
started.
be right on cue, buddy.
Well, I said 6:07. This will be done at 6 or 5:59.
Oh, it's 5:52. I thought it was a couple minutes later than that.
But the long jump and the discus may not be done.
Oh, that's true. Well, it looks like discus might have just got done.
Yeah. But I did say the 4x4 would finish up at 6:07.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you were closer than me.
Would you say 6:20?
I said 6:15.
See how I tried to add 5 minutes there?
You did. You tried to cheat me out of 5 minutes to make me sound even worse. So, you did an inning of baseball with me earlier this year. Do you enjoy doing the track better or baseball better?
I know a heck of a lot more about track than I do baseball, so I've really enjoyed this. But I would enjoy – I'd like to do a whole baseball game with you because I think I would enjoy that. I think it'd be easier to get names and get to know people. Track is a really hard thing to call, even if you've got all their names in front of you. There's so many teams. There's so many kids.
Unless you have a lineup sheet to tell you so-and-so's in lane 1 for every race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like which they do at state and sectionals and stuff like that.
But even when you do, it goes so fast. Imagine trying to call the 4x1 and we're just calling the 100. You're not going to be able to get all their names in.
ICS is out front here in the 4x4. As Mr. Butcher was correct, there is a 4x4, which is the last race of the day.
Yep, the discus has packed up. This race will be done by 6 o'clock. The long jump is starting to thin out.
This day is being brought to you by Farmers and Merchant State Bank of Bushnell. For over 100 years, Farmers and Merchant State Bank of Bushnell has been serving the local community's needs for personal and business banking as well as home and agricultural lending. Stop by the main branch at 484 East Main Street or in Bushnell or the drive-up facility on Cole Street to learn more. F&M is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. First exchange.
Yep. ICS has increased its lead on the they've got the outside lane. West Praire looks like their 8th grade team has made up the stagger on their 7th grade team. Costa is got its work cut out for them if they want to push ICS. ICS is hitting the cutoff. So once we hit that cutoff, it's all even Steven, and it looks like they've got about a 30-meter lead on Costa. That's quite a bit.
30-meter lead, but they've got 2 exchanges left. So
correct.
A lot of time to close up the gap here. We'll see if they're able to do it. It's 200 meters essentially left here in the second leg of the 4x4.
Looks like he has made up a little bit of distance. We're down the home stretch with 100 meters to go.
He hasn't closed up a bunch, though.
No. It's about the exchange zone is 20 meters long.
The third leg for ICS just got done running the 800.
Yes, they did. So this and the
look at that
third leg from Costa is moving. So there goes that 30 meters.
It's going to be gone by the end of the backstretch, it looks like.
Yep.
Maybe the middle of the backstretch.
Yep. It's gone in the first 150 meters, and I feel sorry for that ICS runner that just ran hard in that 800. Finished, 4th or 5th in that race?
Yeah.
Good heavens. Well, the Costa runner has started to slow down a little bit. West Prairie's back
He's limping. The Costa runner is almost limping.
Yep.
Like maybe he hurt himself. He is struggling here, but he's still able to open up a gap. But his form is completely different than it was for sure. We'll hope that he didn't hurt himself somehow. But
he's
final leg
that
coming.
Up 50 meters. Oh, ran into his exchange. Well, kudos to that young man. He just ran 1,200 meters in about 10 minutes time.
Yeah, and the last one was supposed to, and he just.
The Costa runner
is lapping.
He is flying.
Yes, he is.
But I'll tell you what.
ICS is too.
ICS runner looks good.
Tell you what, if ICS's third leg hadn't had to run the 800 right before it, this might be a different race. Because the ICS runner on the final leg is pretty good too. But you can see how much that backstretch wind really affects these guys.
It is a killer.
It is brutal.
Yeah, he's back almost 100 meters now. Yep.
The ICS runner is actually stronger right now.
He
if
is.
that would have been a closer exchange, that would have been a fantastic race.
That would have been really fun. So here comes our 7th grade group from West Praire. And this might even be a couple of 6th graders. And they're plugging away.
They're plugging away, but they're small.
Yes, they are.
Those Costa kids were taking one step to every two of this 7th grade Cyclones group.
Big difference between a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. They've got their last exchange in. It's 5:59.
You said it'd be about 6, so it'll be close. He'll probably run, about a minute 20, though?
I would say.
For a 400, maybe a little more than that?
Maybe a minute 30.
Got to give these, and I've said it a bunch of times, but these West Praire kids deserve a big pat on the back for what they've been able to do and a shortened season. Seeing what the West Praire baseball kids have been able to do to come out and play baseball and play well, lead the Sparklones to a 7-2 start after the other kids kind of held fort, and now they're undefeated since they got back and
well, we got some kids that can hit, don't we?
Yes, they can hit. They can.
Man.
Coach Arnold told me last night he's got 6 kids with wins this year on the mound.
Wow.
And when I coached with him, the most I think we ever had was 3 pitchers with a win. So they're hitting the ball. In order to do that, you have to have hitters. You don't have 6 or 7 good pitchers.
Right.
So you have to have hitters that either get you back into a game after you've gotten behind, which is what they did against Farmington, or whatever manner that happens in, you know what I'm saying? But
well, he's finishing, and it is right at 6. Oh, you can't do that. Run alongside him. That's illegal, but they probably won't call it. 6 o'clock.
Look at you. You said it when it started.
Yeah. The long jump has wrapped things up.
So it's over. We're done.
It is over. Wow, 6:01. What an evening.
That's a fast track meet for 4 schools, and it wasn't like, we've talked about. I'm going to take a short break, and we'll come back for the post game show here in just a second here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, and we'll talk to Mr. Butcher about a couple things when we get back on the JoJo's Gaming Parlor post game show right after this.
McDonough District Hospital's Dolores Cater Schweitzer Women's Center was built for one goal: to strengthen women's health services in the region's premier facility. Our dedicated staff, past and present, delivered generations of MDH babies, and now in the new Women's Center, our staff is ready to deliver the next generation and beyond. Come visit the Dolores Cater Schweitzer Women's Center and see for yourself the MDH difference.
Well, we were camping, and then I got a phone call from my neighbor and said that we got hit by a storm. He said, you better come home because there's no roof. He said, I look up and see the sky. He didn't know what you were going to do, where you're going to go, you know, but Country Financial took care of us.
We anticipate something that we hope never happens, but when it happens, we are there to make good on our promise.
Welcome back to Bushnell Prairie City High School. It's time for the post-game or post-meet show in this instance, brought to you by JoJo's Gaming Parlor. They offer the best gaming experience in the McDonough County area. Stop by for a cold drink and a chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Also on game nights, check out TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. All the events are on the big screens. Come join your friends at JoJo's, located at 776 North Cole Street in Bushnell, and cheer our area teams on to victory. I don't know, Mr. Butcher, that either one of our West Prairie or Bushnell Prairie City picked up the win here today in girls or boys, but solid showings, I'd say, for both.
Yeah, both of them looked really good. Important thing, full teams competing in every event, and that's not easy to do. Got numbers at both schools. It's kind of nice.
So they've been different all year long, obviously, but now there's no sectional meet, which Bushnell was going to host. So what are these? I mean, West Prairie comes back after being off for over 2 weeks, essentially. They come back, and they're running for 1 or 1.5 weeks for – I mean, it takes some intestinal fortitude to come out here and do that and not have anything to run for. You're just out here to run to try to win for yourself and win for your team.
Well, it's kind of nice to go old school like that. And like you said, we not have anything to run for other than to be glad you have something to do and to be able to go out and compete and run and throw and jump and whatever it is, whatever event you might be in. It's kind of nice. This whole last year has definitely made us look at things differently and appreciate events like this.
Well, track meet today, we saw some. You did the meet with us earlier in the year, the Sand Valley meet, which had more schools, but I think the competition today, really from top to bottom, was better than it was at that meet. As we look back at the meet, though, how much of that has to do with timing over maybe athletes, just the timing and everything?
Well, the weather was much nicer. They've had a little time to practice. Costa brought some athletes today.
There's the man, the
Rigg.
myth, the legend, as we're talking about Mr. Rigg walking up here. We were giving you some props for being the best in the business at the corral area down there.
Well, I didn't know if it was going to last till 6:30 or 7, and we got done quicker than that, didn't we?
We did, 6 o'clock. He said 6:07. You even made him out to be a liar.
Yeah, you got done 7 minutes faster than my prediction.
I had, 2 or 3 heats and girls and boys.
Yep. Kept her moving. You got done ahead of the discus and the long jump.
Just a
Smidge.
Yeah.
Long jump. Discus was real close. Yep.
Yeah, you got to take where you get. You did a good job. You always do a good job.
Excellent. We appreciate you.
Well, we're trying you. So when you make a mistake later, we can not feel so bad about it.
I won't be able to get my hat off.
Well, that's not abnormal, is it?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So, but you were mentioning about Costa before he came up. Costa and ICS brought some really good athletes to the
Yes,
track today, didn't they?
They absolutely did. That made this meet really really a good one to end the season on. If you're not going to have sectional, I tell you, we had some athletes here today and some tough events that would have rivaled what we would have saw at sectional.
We've said that there's not the sectional, and we have a few people still watching. So a lot of your memories that you've talked about, and a lot of the memories I've talked about, have been sectionals, state meets, that honor roll meet in Peoria. That's all stuff that these kids, high school or junior high, aren't going to get to take part in. They're not going to get to sectional meet. They're not going to get to state meet. They're not going to get to – they may get the honor roll meet, I guess, depending on what happens. But that's all stuff these kids for the last 2 years are missing out on.
Yeah, the junior highs missed out on it. The high school missed out on it last year. High school's going to get a postseason this year. So they're going to have a sectional and, I believe, a state. So
as long as we keep things they are. Anyway.
We got to keep things under control. Keep following safety guidelines, and I think we'll be okay. I think when we get to postseason, it's almost going to bring a tear to our eye to be a part of that again. It's going to be special. And these kids that have had their junior high track seasons robbed from them the last couple of years, they're going to appreciate it when they get to it, when they get it next year, or they get to it in high school. They're not going to take it for granted. I'm hoping it helps our numbers. It doesn't hurt us. I hope it helps us.
Well, I was talking to Lester Fowler last night, and Bushnell, West Praire obviously was here, so West Praire kids are on BWP. And Bailey, I believe it's Bailey Sullivan, which is his grandson, had jumped last night, long jump. He's a sophomore, hadn't jumped since 8th grade. And we don't think about that stuff, but there's sophomore pitchers making a varsity start when BWP was down to just Bushnell. They had sophomore pitchers making varsity starts, which was their first high school start ever.
Right.
I mean, that's the stuff that you think of sophomores, they've got a year of experience, but they don't.
They did
not.
Yeah.
Eighth graders only have a 6th grade experience or no experience. It's just so different what these kids are dealing with and the experience level that they have now or don't have in this instance because they didn't get that experience that first year.
It makes it more impressive to me their ability to go out there and do that. Just like the sophomore pitcher, some of our kids running track today, they've barely done anything. Some kids from West Praire, like you said, running track for the first time out here. And it takes a lot of guts, as you said. And I'm losing the word. But I can't think of the word. What comes to mind?
I don't know. Intestinal fortitude is what kept coming to my mind today.
Composure. Composure what I was looking for. For a sophomore, first baseball game ever as a high schooler, throwing a varsity baseball game, and the composure that it takes to do that. Yeah. That's impressive, and I'm very proud of these kids.
Yeah, and it says something about the coaching staffs you have too. I mean, Coach Schneider's done a great job with his help with Coach Rodefer and everybody that helps him, Sam DeCounter and the coaching staff at West Praire. To be able to keep your kids enthused and excited when they're sitting at home and be able to come out here and I mean, I know that track has a lot to do with natural athletic ability or natural speed or natural whatever, but you still have to, you no matter how naturally quick you are, when you sit around for 2 weeks, if you just sit around for 2 weeks, you're not going to be as fast as the naturally fast kids from the other schools.
Yep, you're correct.
And so you have to keep those kids excited and enthused to come out here and do this stuff, and very, very proud of all the West Praire kids for sure. So, and of course, several of the BPC kids have been quarantined as well. So it's these kids have overcome. I give these kids a hard time a lot about, in general, the youth of today is not being as strong as we were, but in some ways I think they're somewhat stronger in some ways too. Because I think we would have handled this too, but you look back on it, and I think maybe we wouldn't have handled it politely as they're handling it. Let's put it that way. Does that make any sense?
It sure does. They're good kids. This is the event that maybe this generation needed. That's a difficult thing to say, but maybe this is what they needed. And they're certainly going to be better people for it.
Well, let's hope everybody ends up being better people for it. Yep. So, at any rate, I want to thank you. You're welcome to come. Are you helping with the Muggs McGinnis relays or?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be scorekeeper for all the high school events. But they're
Gotcha.
starting to do it online. I don't know how that's going to work, but I should be here for all the high school.
Well, we're going to try to do big things as best we can for the Muggs McGinnis Relay. Muggs was here for so long. It's such a great part of sports in every manner, it seems like, in Bushnell. So we're going to make sure we cover that. But we've got baseball and all kinds of stuff coming up here in the next week or so. And there's no home track meets next week, if my math is correct. Muggs McGinnis will be the next track meet we do. So we'll have baseball next week and softball next week. And we have the West Prairie FFA banquet on the 15th, which is Saturday night. We're going to have Dallas City Elementary School's 8th grade promotion on the 20th. Then we've got the Bushnell Prairie City High School graduation on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've got band concert next
Yep.
Wednesday night,
Yep.
which is the 14th, I think. So I think that's
so.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, or 12th. It's the 12th because yesterday was the 5th, right?
It was the 5th. You're
and it's
correct.
Wednesday night, so it'll be the 12th. So we got the band concert on the 12th. And then we've got the 8th grade promotion for West Prairie, the 24th, whatever the Friday is after your graduation, 26th, 7th, 8th.
Oh, yeah.
And then then that Saturday we've got baseball and West Prairie's high school graduation.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all kinds of different things coming. We'll try to put a schedule up here because there's so many different things going to be on our Hewlett Public Pro LLC web or channel, YouTube channel, and you're going to see a bunch of us in the next couple of weeks, I guess, inside and outside the school. So
I'll try to get with you for a baseball game, and I'll be around for all the track games. So
that sounds outstanding. Well, thanks, Mr. Butcher. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching. We'll be back tomorrow with softball and baseball here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.